And good evening to everyone around the world. This is Nichole. Welcome to another edition of GFA Attract. Today, our guest is Efemini Awosika. Hi, Efe.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon.
Okay, so Efe works with Efemini Academy and Robert and John. So we're just going to get into it and we'll just, start off with the first question. Efe, can you tell us about yourself?
Okay, so I am a mom and a wife and also a professional. I am a supply chain professional. So just to give you a bit of a background on my career, I started out in finance in the banking sector in the UK, and I was organizing public-private partnership finance. I moved out of that sector in 2005 when I relocated to Nigeria, and I joined the supply chain industry in oil and gas sector. I was opportune to work in that sector for almost 14 years, and I worked in tendering, in contracting, pretty much around the whole supply chain industry. So I left at the end of 2018 and decided I needed to give back in some way, some shape, some form. So I set up Efemini Academy, which is an online academy that delivers procurement courses to young professionals in the industry. So the whole idea behind Efemini is really to show small businesses how to access contract opportunities in the industry, how to position themselves to secure opportunities, how to walk through the whole tendering process. And it's been amazing. It's been wonderful. It was launched at the beginning of this year, and we've had quite good stories from that. I'm also currently working with Robert and John. Robert and John is an innovative technology solutions company. I work there as a director and the chief knowledge officer.
Okay, excellent. So can we talk a little bit about your educational background?
Okay, so I have an undergraduate in banking and finance from the University of Lagos in Nigeria, and a master's degree in analysis, design, and management of information systems from the London School of Economics. I'm also professionally certified, so I'm a chartered supply chain professional, US, and a member of the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, UK. I have a few other degrees. Well, I'm a bit of a nerd, so I have a few other degrees. I have an MBA in contracts management and in procurement specialist as well.
Okay, excellent. So I'm a bit curious, what was the inspiration behind Efemini Academy? What drove you into entrepreneurship, so to speak?
Okay, so when you're working for, not for everyone, but for some people, it gets to a point where you start to think, there must be more to this, there must be more I can do. I want to give back, I want to impact lives, I want to, help other people. And so I kind of had a period where I started thinking about doing something different from the regular 8 to 5. And so after a couple of years, I decided to take that leap to, start up something on my own. And Efemini Academy actually came up because I had a couple of people approached me asking me to consult. And I kind of knew I didn't want to consult on a one-to-one basis, but I wasn't quite sure how I was going to give back in a way that would make sense and would make an impact. I came across this book, Knowledge is the New Gold, and that made me realize that all the experience I had gained over the years, and all the opportunities I had been blessed with, pretty much, was, gold. It was experience, knowledge, it was all gold. And I started to package it into an online course, which was launched early this year. So that was how the launch of the academy came out. The course is called How to Bid to Win Contracts, and we've had over 200 students taking in the course to date, and we've had good testimonials from there and success stories. So it was something that I kind of gradually went into. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the course, How to Bid was? Just a little bit of, like an introduction about the course.
Okay, so How to Bid to Win Contracts is actually a 6-week fully transformational course, and it takes a contractor, a bidder who is looking for opportunities through the whole process of tendering. So the normal tender would go through a technical evaluation stage and then a commercial evaluation stage before contracts are awarded. So I've taken the experience I had pretty much developing a wide variety of tenders in the different aspects of the industry, and evaluating those tenders, awarding contracts, and put together, a process. So it's a step-by-step process that takes a business from seeking out opportunities, knowing which opportunities to target, find, a process of identifying the opportunities that are worth your while and that you would fare successfully in. Then putting together a bid document, a tender document that would help you score successfully in the technical stage. So the technical stage has to do with assessing the contractor's capacity. Are they able to do the work? Do they have the right facilities, the right people, the right knowledge? So we take you through that whole process, explain to you how tenders are scored in the technical phase, because a lot of contractors tend to fall out in that phase. So we go through a very robust exercise of learning how the technical tender phase is scored and evaluated, and then also helping with templates, with worksheets, with guides that a contractor can actually use to put together a successful technical bid. And then we go through the commercial phase. In the commercial phase, you learn how to bid, how to put together a commercial bid that's not too high, not too low, and what to do when you're called in to negotiate your bid, how to approach that, some tips, some success tips, and all of that. So it's a complete cycle. It takes you right from the beginning to the very end. Currently, we have a few short courses that we are also offering for free, and this is just to assist contractors and bidders who want to sample out something, or just need some help perhaps in the foundation stage, or some help just how to identify the right opportunities, how to position themselves, or some help in the technical phase alone. So we have some short courses that we're also offering that we've had quite a lot of uptake in as well.
Okay, let's go back a little bit to Robert and John. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Okay, so Robert and John is an innovative technology solutions company, and the core of who we are really is to advance humanity. That's our core mission, to advance humanity. So how do we do this? We do this through using technology to solve social problems. And the two key sectors we've identified are the health sector and the education sector. So we have two products. We have Roducate, which is Road to Education, and Doctor, which actually means delivering unrelenting care to our users reliably. So those are our two core products at Robert and John.
Okay, and how do you plan to advance humanity through technology specifically? Is it through, well, you can expand on that one.
Okay, so what we've done, we've looked around, right, and identified some key problems that we see not just in Nigeria, but even in Africa as a whole. And one of the key issues that we saw was education. So in Africa, access to quality education is not, it's not like you would have it in the West, that, it's easily affordable or even free. Here, it's a bit different, and, you don't have access to good quality education. We have quite a lot of out-of-school children. So we decided to put together the West African and East African curriculum into an educational application that's called Roducate. Roducate was launched in, it's about 10 years now, in 2010. And it's currently, we have about 1 million users that have benefited from that platform. It's accessible in any of the stores, the app stores, or on the web. Now, Roducate has several products. So it's the content that you would find on Roducate is curriculum-based, is approved curriculum-based for both the West African curriculum and the East African curriculum. And we have an extensive range of content, lecture notes, tutorial videos, mock exams. There's also counseling for academic and career counseling for the students. There's quite an extensive range of content. Our content is approved by all the necessary bodies, the regulatory bodies, the exam bodies, university bodies, and even the African Union. And with Roducate, we try to address the educational problem on all levels. So we have products that fit the different parts of the market, right? So we have the high-end product where you can access Roducate as a subscription, as an individual user. We have Roducate for schools as well, which has been really embraced by the schools, particularly this period with the pandemic forcing schools to shut down. And with Roducate for schools, schools are able to set up their online platform instantly. Their platform is branded with the school logo, the school colors, and it's exclusively accessed by their students. The schools also have opportunity to make revenue with the online platform. We also identified a peculiar problem with the state schools, because we saw that the private schools were able to transit into online teaching much easier. So there were hiccups here and there, but they were able to transit easier. And the pandemic hit the state schools the hardest, because they were the ones who didn't have access to technology or access to data and the like. So we came up with a solution which has been very successful, and that's the Roducate intervention solution. So with that package, we identified a good operating system that takes very low data in the KaiOS. So we have a KaiOS device that's preloaded with a light version of the Roducate application, and we give this to, so we also have successful public-private partnerships. So we give this out to the students of the state schools for free, and they also have data included in that package. So they don't have to worry about data, they don't have to worry about the device, they don't have to worry about where to get the content from. Even the teachers are very happy because they are able to leverage on the approved curriculum-based content that's already in the device. So it's been a very wonderful opportunity actually to provide that solution that's been embraced. Another thing that we've done in Robert and John is to waive the subscription. So as long as a student has the Rodicate intervention device, they don't have to pay any subscription. It's waived, for life. So it's been our own way of also, helping, supporting state schools this period. To date, we've distributed, I think, about 30,000 devices to the students. Students have been really pleased. It's helped particularly those who had to write exams, the WAEC exams, West African examination exams, and it's really been a huge support for them. So that's what we're doing with the Rodicate application, and we feel that once we are able to put quality education in the hands of children across Africa, that it would definitely, progress the continent, it will progress the people, and it will advance humanity. With Doctor, which is the health application, I'm not able to say too much about it because we are just in the process of, getting ready to launch. But we feel that we have found a solution to the health problems in the continent, and we are going to use Doctor to kind of revolutionize the health industry, and we would be providing healthcare that's easily accessible and affordable in the continent. So I can't say too much about that, but you would be seeing it in a few months down the line. Yeah.
That sounds like very exciting news. Can you share some personal success stories from Efemini Academy? Do you have any that you'd like to share?
Yes. With Efemini Academy, we've had, we spent putting together the course, and launching in itself is a success story, because it was actually quite a long. It took about a year to do that, so it's been putting it together and launching itself is a success story. We've had students, who've come back to say they've handled their negotiations differently after going through our courses. They've handled their tender process differently. They've put in the right foundation, and they are seeing changes in opportunities that are coming their way. We have a company who's able to sign up an international partnership after going through our course, and we've had quite a number of individuals who would come back saying, they've become an asset in the organization. That was an area we didn't even look at, but just going through that course and getting all that knowledge and expertise then makes them very valuable in the organization. So we've had good testimonies, really coming back from that. A common phrase that we get every day is, this is very complicated stuff that's very easily laid out. So yes, we make things very easy to understand. We break it all down. So even if you have very little knowledge in tendering and contracting, once you go through the course, everything is broken down very well. So you're able to understand and to assimilate, everything you need to know. Yeah.
let's go on to the future. What does the future look like for Efemini Academy?
Well, definitely we would be expanding on the courses that we're providing, because we've had quite a lot of requests to have, courses that span other industries as well, that are applicable to just general, small businesses. So we will definitely be expanding. We'll also, from next year, we would also be opening up opportunities for other professionals to come in and also host their courses. So we will also, show them how to put together an online course and how to deliver same, and also use the platform, to launch out their courses. So I've had, all the plans really are based on feedback that we've received, and I've had a number of my colleagues reach out to say they would like to do, what I'm doing, how can I assist? So definitely we would go into that angle of, supporting them to also put out their courses using the platform. So I see, Efemini really going, getting much bigger than myself, because I'm not a reservoir of knowledge, but it will be much bigger than myself and accessible to anyone globally, not restricted to Africa, but globally. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the online education industry in Africa. What do you think are the major challenges in online learning?
Online education in Africa, I would say, if you had asked this question a year ago, perhaps, it would have been that we were not ready, and it was not being embraced. But with the current times where we've been, thrust into the online space, whether we like it or not, I would say the challenges we have are really access to devices, access to data, to good data and affordable data. So, not just having access to data that's actually good, but also affordable. It's quite pricey here. And also power. Yes, power. So power to keep your devices, working all the time. Those are the challenges that I see in Africa.
And what needs to be done to overcome these challenges, in your opinion?
Well, with data, we see that, I see young businesses coming up now, looking for solutions, looking for ways to have cheaper data that's accessible. In terms of access, it would gradually get there. So cables are being run and all that. So I see a few years down the line, it will be much better, as it reaches every corner of the continent. In terms of data, what we at Robert and John have done is to partner with a major telecoms network, and we, using the KIOS device, which consumes low data, we're able to leverage on that, partner with the network, get our own data package and be able to dispense that to the students. So there will be more of such partnerships, more of such solutions, coming down the line. We have a few networks who also try to offer data for free for educational purposes. So it's something that we would gradually overcome as more and more people, identify these challenges and come up with solutions that, fit our side of the world. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And let's go on to the key lessons that you would like to relay related to research and development. For entrepreneurs, what is the role of research and development when you are establishing your own innovative idea?
Yeah, research and development is very key. It's the basis of any product, you know, that you're going to come out with. So it's actually a very important first step to take, right? To start seeing, you know, what's available, see what people are asking for, identify who are the people, who's my target audience, who are the people who would, you know, need this product or need this service. And, you know, what do they need? What solutions have they used previously? And, you know, what issues do they have with those solutions? What would they want to see more of? You know, what would they like to have different from what they are used to? So research and development is really key. It's also important to know that you don't ever get to a point where your product is perfect and ready to be launched. So, you know, you would always be researching, you would always be improving on the product, but at some point it just has to come out. It's never going to be perfect because there's a bit of paralysis that comes in when you're trying to, you know, make the product just perfect. But it's important to just put it out there, you know, do a bit of beta testing, have people use the product or use the service and come back with their feedback, and then you can, you know, improve, make it better. And it's an iterative process that just goes on and on and on. It never ends. So it's actually important for entrepreneurs to know that there's never going to be an ideal time, so to say, to, you know, launch out. You just have to put it out there and let people use it and let people give you feedback so you can keep improving the product. That's a major lesson that I think that entrepreneurs would need to have, especially people who are just, you know, coming out to start up something. Just put it out there. You know, there's a saying that you would always be embarrassed by your first product or your first, you know, your first launch out there. You would always be embarrassed by it. It's never going to be perfect, but at least it gives you the opportunity to, you know, keep improving the product and seeing where you keep getting it wrong, and, you know, you keep improving and you just keep doing it until it gets, you know, to be the best. So that's a major lesson I would say entrepreneurs need to have. It's also important to be consistent. So there's a tendency to also, you know, you try out something, it doesn't appear to work, and then, you know, you move to the next thing. But there's no such thing as overnight success. It takes years to achieve overnight success. So you just have to keep, you know, putting in the effort, you know, one day at a time. Just keep at it, keep showing up, keep, you know, putting out your best foot, and it will all add up eventually, and you will achieve success. But you have to be consistent in, you know, what you select. I know a few people who would, you know, jump from one product to another, but this doesn't seem to be working, and then you move to the next. But really, it takes a lot of being consistent and just, you know, pushing through one day at a time. Yeah.
Okay. My next question is related to switching from being employed, well, let's say transitioning from being employed to becoming an entrepreneur who is trying to change Africa. What is your number one tip or advice that you may give to someone who is also trying to transition from, you know, being employed to being an entrepreneur?
It's a very big decision, It's most certainly is not a decision you take lightly. It's something that you have to actually spend time thinking about before jumping in, particularly for those who, have because I left a very well-paid, good job with a multinational. So I was almost, to others, it was like I was out of my mind to do that. But, it's something that I would say the most important step to take, if you're thinking about doing that, is to start early. So by start early, I mean, start when you start thinking about it, then you start taking steps to prepare yourself, for that transition. And you start doing that by, one, you start researching on what you want to do, start, even if it's, a lot of people would say, I have no time. I can only do this, when I've left totally. But even if it's just putting in 30 minutes a day to think about, what you want to do some research on it, to ask questions, look for someone you could talk to who's probably already in that space, then it helps. So that's part of the preparation. Also, beginning to scale down on your lifestyle. So you're used to having an alert at the end of every month. It's not going to be the same, when you start out in entrepreneurship. So start scaling down in your lifestyle. Start living within much, much less than you earn. That also helps you to put together some savings. But then it also helps you to begin to have that mindset shift that, okay, I have to be very prudent. I'm not going to be wasteful in spending. I'm, going to save a lot more and all of that, so that when you transition, it can be a rude shock to see, oh my God, I have not received any funds in 3 months or in 4 months. So it's really important to prepare the mind, by cutting down and beginning to think like one who's not earning any money. It's also important to start to, I think being in employment is a very good foundation, because you get to see how things should work. You get just that office culture, that business culture. It's a very good foundation. But sometimes as an employee, we are not thinking of the business as a whole. We're only thinking of our little space, or our parts where we have responsibility. But beginning to even think in terms of the whole business, like, okay, what's hitting the bottom line? Okay, how is this being handled? Those are thought processes that would help when you transition. So the whole process of planning is, doing research, beginning to think like an entrepreneur, beginning to scale back on your spending, so you have more savings and you're not shocked when you have to scale back when you transition. And really just taking that step, doing it afraid. That's how I like to say it, doing it afraid. There's always a lot of fear of the unknown, but just going in afraid and taking that risk. Nobody ever said at the end of their life that, I wish I had more money or more. It's always, I wish I did that thing that I wanted to do, but I was always too afraid to do. So yeah, just, going ahead and plunging in.
Wow. What is your advice to Get Funded Africa?
Get Funded Africa, I think you guys are doing a good job. I've watched a couple of your interviews, and I think you're doing a fantastic job. You're, creating a lot of awareness there, educating young entrepreneurs on how to get funding. I think you're doing a fantastic job. Areas that I think you could also look into will be to one, maybe have a community, start building community. Community is good because, sometimes, particularly for young entrepreneurs, it can be a lonely journey because, you come out of employment where you're used to, chatting with your colleagues and, just having fun. And then you come out and you realize that, there's, it's just me here, at least when you start up. So having other people who are in that same space, who are in that same timeline, it's encouraging to know that, okay, I'm not alone. I can chat with someone. Perhaps we are facing similar challenges. We can support each other. We can encourage ourselves. So building a community for young entrepreneurs will be good. Also, creating access to mentorship. So there are those who've been very successful, who've been doing this for a long time, and there are those who are just starting out. There are those who are kind of balancing out. Everyone is at a different phase, and so it would also be good to be able to pair people up so that they have some kind of mentorship. They have someone who's gone through that process before that they can talk to, who can kind of give some encouragement, and just pairing people up pretty much who are different phases so that there's support all the way. I think those are the two areas that you guys can go into.
Okay, so winding down, what do you do after work? What do you like to do?
I'm a bit of a fitness junkie. So I like to work out. I do a lot of exercise. For me, exercise is like my morning cup of coffee. If I haven't exercised, I'm not ready for the day. So yeah, I like to exercise. I also like sports. So I play tennis and I swim as well. And I like to travel. So maybe when everything is much better, yes, we'll go back to traveling again.
Which countries are on your list for next year?
For next year, hoping everything goes calm and we are not running from any pandemic. Definitely south of France. That's a place I actually wanted to visit this year, but I couldn't. So that's top of my list, the south of France. I've also been trying to learn how to speak French. So it's an opportunity for me to practice. So I'm looking forward to that. I like islands. So, any island works for me. Places like Seychelles or like the Maldives. I love being in islands. So definitely, if everything is fine next year, we will be looking at places like that. Yeah.
Do you watch sports, and what is your favorite team?
I watch tennis, of course, and the Williams sisters. Football, I'm not a football fan, but I have a husband and son who are avid football fans. So I'm an Arsenal fan. They've actually this year moved over to Liverpool, but I'm just stuck on Arsenal. I don't know why, because I don't even watch football like that. But yes, I'm an Arsenal fan.
What are you reading currently? What book are you reading right now?
Reading. I haven't read a novel in a while, or a book in a while, but I would say the book that I have been going back to a lot lately is the Bible. And why have I? Because when you think about it, you want to learn how to lead. It's the perfect book for you. You want to learn how to be a good servant. It's the perfect book. You want to learn parenting skills. You want to learn, you want motivation, inspiration. Anything you want is covered in the Bible. So yeah, that has been my go-to book, for a while now.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us in this edition of GFA Attract. Hi, Tunji. Okay, so from me and the GFA team, thank you, Efe, and thank you to everyone watching.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I want to stop recording now. Okay.